Joining me now is the lawyer who appeared in the Supreme Court on this major landmark court verdict. Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi is, of course, third-time sitting MP of the Congress, a member of the Congress Working Committee, chairman of the Standing Committee on Commerce and a national spokesperson. Appreciate you joining us, Dr. Singhvi. Give me a sense of what this judgment means. Should it be seen only in the limited context of what happened in Chandigarh, in the manner in which the Supreme Court suggested that the presiding officer had allegedly attempted to brazenly rig the polls? You're on mute, sir. You're on mute.
Rajdeep, this is a very important formulation by you in the way you put it. It is in fact a much larger question than just seeing it as a court verdict. And it's a larger question, A, for the polity, larger question for how the Supreme Court can and should function, and larger question also, of course, of the kind of political debauchery under your nose happening every day. Let me just be very quick and tell you the debauchery part of it. You know, there is the man brazenly puts dots as an excuse for rejecting. The votes are clear. 20 minus 8 becomes 12, 16 wins. And yesterday, I frankly, you know, I've spent a lifetime in law. I'm really admiring and complimenting the person for his guts and the brazenness in which his point was today put across with righteous indignation. What did I do wrong? Yesterday he says, I put those dots because the ballots had already been defaced. Now brings the second point. The court walked the talk. It's very important for the court to walk the talk, to deal with the last mile remedy. The court yesterday caught this sentence that, look, I have done nothing. I put a dot because it had already been defaced by the candidates. They said, let's have a look at the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Let's get the ballots. By the way, 3 weeks ago, I had got a stay order, which proved very useful, which said all the ballots will be preserved, elections will be stayed, and even the budget session shall not take place. This matter came after 2.5, 3 weeks of that order. Ballots were preserved. When the ballots were opened, there was no defacement by the candidates, which is why the second part of the order prosecutes him or proposes to prosecute him. But I'm not concerned about the individual. I'm not even concerned about this particular case, which at the end of the day is a municipal case. What is interesting, Rajdeep, is you are finding it with brazen, monotonous regularity. And I have no hesitation in saying...
No. 1 minute. I must stop you. When you say brazen, monotonous regularity, you have to prove it. Are you suggesting to me that what the presiding officer, Anil Masih, did in a Chandigarh mayor poll is happening across the country?
Yes. How? Absolutely. Allow me to explain. I am not going to mince words. You take most of the elections across the country. I can understand where it's wafer thin. You will fight. But today, BJP, the new BJP, the non-Vajpayee BJP, the BJP unrecognizable from the true BJP, says we fight to win, which means by hook or by crook, and more by crook or by hook. You will find, tell me, in a Rajya Sabha election, if you are 43 and somebody is 25, I'm giving a hypothetical example, why will the 25 declare a candidate? It's an open election. There's no confidentiality. You have to show your vote. The only reason would be a declaration of intent that we intend to win by two means: money or inducement and fear.
No, you're referring, Dr. Singhvi, to Himachal Pradesh, where you are a Rajya Sabha candidate of Congress, where Congress has 43, BJP has 25. No. You have to show what happened in Chandigarh was a polling officer allegedly defaced these papers and deliberately, in a way, attempted to rig the polls. The Supreme Court has come out against him. When you say this is happening across the country, you're making a very serious allegation.
Of course I am. It may not be the same form. You may not have a pliant returning officer in Karnataka. But what has happened today in Karnataka as we speak? There is an official complaint filed in FIR lodge that they are trying to do horse trading. What is happening frequently in Bengal? What is happening frequently in other states? This BJP believes that victory at all costs. That's the larger ethic you have to understand. As I said, today, if you forget my case or your case or this state, the very fact that you declare that we intend to have a candidate with no arithmetical chance of winning indicates and makes an inducement offer. Look, come to me. I am here with weighted bags waiting for you. That is the real point.
No, but can I therefore push you, Dr. Singhvi, because in this case, the polling officer is the one who's now charged a presiding officer with the possibility of contempt of court. He could be prosecuted, or at least that's what the Chief Justice said, for the manner in which he conducted this poll. But do you believe he was acting on instructions from above? If so, who is the court willing to go that far? Or has the court caught the smallest piece in this entire episode?
Let's be clear, Rajdeep. Number one, he is the entire presiding officer is the word. B, number two, he is being hauled up at the moment at a notice stage for perjury, which is a criminal offense under section 340. Number three, he says yesterday, 24 hours ago, something which no amount of brazenness would have supported unless he knew that there is protection. Number four, you forget, he's not a government officer. He's a BJP councillor, head of the minority cell, who did not stand for election this time. If you're not standing for election, an ex-councillor can be the presiding officer. He's directly with the BJP. Number five, he repeats this sentence and today argues with righteous indignation. What happened? There's no problem. There's a camera. There are 50 people sitting around. If I look at the camera above me, what is wrong in that? Forgetting that the camera is actually recording what he's doing on the ballot. And on the ballot, the votes are clear. He puts a dot, a squiggle, and then uses his own dot, which does not identify the voter, which does not make it difficult to count. He uses that own thing to disqualify 8 votes. Would he do it without, would a BJP councillor do it without support from BJP quarters? No, do we live in common sense or do we eat grass?
No, so the question therefore comes that does this go beyond this particular officer? But more importantly, the BJP subsequently...
He's not an officer, he's a politician.
Yeah, a politician. Subsequently, 3 Aam Aadmi Party MLAs have switched to the BJP. The BJP can now well claim that they actually have, as you see those numbers, they can well claim now that they have the majority with these 3 defections. If that happens, then with a no confidence motion for all that you've achieved today in court, on the floor of that municipal corporation in Chandigarh, the BJP can again defeat you.
Okay, 2 misconceptions I must clear is going around on all the channels. There is no concept of a no confidence. You're not talking of parliamentary democracy. This is a statute, a creature of statute, the municipal corporation, which gives a fixed 1-year term to the mayor. The mayor will last 1 year and go off. There is no concept, no provision, no statute for a no confidence. Get that clear? This is what is going around.
Okay.
So that is, the fruits of their poison tree will not be so easy for them to eat. Secondly, I wish they were to do that. What does it mean? You know, in democracy, Rajdeep, I cannot do anything by force. Ultimately, you have the majority to do wrong also. But the repeated wrongs you do by a majority, you actually paint yourself black. The people are seeing that you used the 2.5 weeks between when I got the stay order and today to come back last night, do a strategic resigning of the mayor, and today, very blithely and blasely, argue in the court, why don't we have elections again, sir? Let's have elections. Because you use the 2.5 weeks to induce and cross over these councillors.
So that's why the court... Are you making a direct charge, Dr. Singhvi, that the BJP's top leadership was involved in this? The BJP has stayed silent on this. I want to ask you today, are you making a direct charge that the BJP's top leadership, right up to the Home Minister, Prime Minister, are involved in what happens in the Chandigarh mayor poll?
I am not taking names. I don't know where the buck stops. Everybody knows that in this country, the buck stops at the top, at 1.5 levels. Now, that's not the point. The point is I have not lost my sense of common sense. There's this poor Masi, an ex-councillor of the BJP, who is temporarily put in charge of a presiding officer role. Do you think he has the guts to do what he did? You've seen it on camera. For God's sake, Rajdeep, let's not lose our common sense. Unless he has the complete backing of what he thinks is the central government, or what he thinks is the ruling powers of the country. Do you think this poor man will have the power or the guts to do it himself? He has, of course, committed perjury, so he's not a poor man. He must be punished. But do you think he had the guts to do all this on his own? And secondly, I want to ask you that this painting yourself black by repeatedly saying, now our mayor will resign, we'll have elections again. Because why? We have used this time to convert people. I take your point. I take your point. Let me ask you in conclusion, do you believe that this is a one-off, where the Supreme Court has actually acted and intervened in this dramatic manner
and I even declared the poll results, something unprecedented almost in Indian democracy? Or do you believe that increasingly the court will be forced to look at horse trading, whether it takes place tomorrow in a Rajya Sabha election or indeed in any election in the country?
Well, my clear answer is I jolly well hope it is so. I really and genuinely believe that where the conscience of the court is sufficiently shocked by the facts, it is not in every average ordinary case or just an allegation that the court will intervene. But where you find such facts and the court went down to the bone to look at it, the court must make sure that the remedy follows the default. Otherwise, you'll end up giving a sermon. Today, the court's great virtue in this case has been that they've given last mile remedy or last mile connectivity and not merely given a declaration. Okay. Otherwise, operation successful, patient dies is not the remedy. And that is where a message is rightly sent to the presiding officers of the country, to those who indulge in horse trading, be it in Rajya Sabha or other disqualification proceedings, that look, there is somebody watching over you. Now we understand that the court always doesn't have time. So we sympathize with the lack of time of the court. But when they get down to it, this is the right way to proceed, and they've done it wonderfully.
Okay, let's leave it there. Dr. Singhvi, I know this is a day where you have reason to feel triumphant, but we will wait and see whether this actually changes some of the aberrations that have, I'm sure, distortions that have crept into our democracy and our democratic functioning. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, always a pleasure talking to you.